Lord is flower bomb, firefly. When I'm low, she take me high. Teach you on a sound of love.
Flower bomb, let me guess your favorite fragrance. And you got that bomb. I'm trying that in nature. No disrespecting, baby. Just try and make me smile. Try to keep my spirits up. That's why.
What's up, everyone? It's Books&Looks TV. So today I'm going to be talking about Wale and colorism, about the dynamics it is for a lot of men to, I guess, be emotional or vulnerable in this space. I do look at gender and race often in my everyday life and through studies. I just realized that Wale had said that he experienced colorism. And a lot of people were like doubting, well, how did Wale experience colorism if it's so many dark-skinned black men in hip-hop who are doing well? And so I just wanted to look at more so different dynamics of what gender could be depicted as, especially for a dark-skinned black man. And I think in the realm of hip-hop, just usually limiting what's considered masculine, especially for darker-skinned men who are supposed to be deemed as the highest form of masculinity. And so today I just want to look at different ways in which colorism and maybe perhaps Wale's own personality may have hindered his rap career. And I want to know down below if you think that colorism had any impact on Wale. Wale is a Nigerian American and DMV native who primarily reigned in the mid-2000s. In 2005, Wale started his music career by releasing mixtapes in the Washington, D.C. area. His debut mixtape was titled Paint a Picture. Following that, Wale released his second mixtape. In 2006, Hate is the New Love. And the same year, Wale signed with a local record label in Studio 43. Rap or hip-hop has always been feminine since its creation. Black male rappers have expressed their love and devotion for the art form they practice in ways very much akin to the traditional manner in which heterosexual men attempt to woo heterosexual women. Despite Wale's talent, Wale has received a lot of controversy in his music. He released an album called The Gifted, which was his third studio album. The Gifted was released on June 25th of 2013 to mainly positive reviews. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Wale also had a host of mixtapes, which people usually reference as some of his best work. One of his mixtapes was called All About Nothing, which also reached number 1 on the Billboard. It was inspired by the television show Seinfeld, and it centered around relationships in a lot of ways. Overall, Wale seems to wear his heart on his sleeves. However, some of his misogyny creeps out at times. For instance, there's this line where he says, "Tell him a pretty bitch is only a pretty bitch to a sucker, and tell all them sadiddy bitches we don't really love them." However, Wale has also a host of lyrics that are really decent compared to the average rapper. As stated in Don't Hate Me Because I'm Beautiful, Black Masculinity, an Alternative Embodiment of Rap Music by Antonio Randolph, rappers change their construction of masculinity, not just to exert dominance over other competing masculinities, but to reap the rewards of a dominant culture that they do not control. Thus, the influence of dominant white men, be they suburban rap fans or record company CEOs, exerts an external pressure on the construction of masculinity and rap not captured by the concept of hegemonic masculinity. Yet, compared to most rappers, Wale isn't bad. Many know Wale for his admiration of women, actually. And I'm just going to read some of his lyrics as stated by Medium.com. So in the song Ambitious Girl, which was one of my favorite songs, he captures Wale in his most poetic form, lathering the thought of a girl who would rather finish a chapter book than finish a conversation with him. And Lotus Flower Bomb, he takes a complete 180-degree turn from Let's Chill, and Wale draws in the young lady's attention through confident wordplay and his own touch of charisma. This song is certified platinum in the United States and peaked number 1 in the Billboard Hot R&B and hip-hop songs. Black is Gold is one of Wale's post-J. Cole wake-up tracks. It speaks directly to women of color. Wale praises them for being an extraordinary example of how to be a queen. He commends Miss Lupita, Ducky Thought, Viola Davis. Younger women follow like SZA and Justine Scott, as stated by Craig T. Lee. Wale has often been labeled as a poetic rapper. To compare rap with poetry, it's important to take a look back at the history of both and when the two started to intertwine. Rap poems date back to West African storytelling traditions when artists would share tales within a poetic or musical form. Poetry has always influenced hip-hop culture and vice versa in the early 2000s. Def Poetry Jam was a popular series on HBO by rapper and host Mos Def. The poetry slam style involved poets competing against each other, going verse for verse, a style similar to a rap battle where rappers exchange the same, though over a specific beat. Wale has been criticized for being a poet and emotional, and some people have said that his music is too soft or sensitive, and that he is not a real rapper. Others have said that his lyrics are too personal and that he should keep his emotions to himself. However, a lot of Wale fans appreciate his honesty and vulnerability. They say that his music is relatable and that he's not afraid to express himself. Wale has also said that he is proud of his poetic abilities and that he sees himself as a rapper and a poet, which makes sense because, I don't know, but in grade school, we were always taught that language and rhyming and poetry went hand in hand. So to me, it's kind of weird that people shame Wale for being a rapper or being a poet. But again, I know why, and that's because it's seen as like too soft or feminine. So Wale's success shows that there is a place for all type of rappers, including those who are poetic and emotional. I think that Wale also admitting to having anxiety.
Successful people, you got to remind yourself who you are, especially with like celebrities, because people Monday could be to everybody. You going to bed looking at your comments and everybody telling you you're the greatest, and by Friday everybody's telling you fell off, you're the worst. You know what I mean? And, it's a difficult. I think that record deal should come with like mental health insurance. To be honest,
yeah,
I think it should be part of it though. But that's a whole nother thing that I want to present at some point. But I think it's the road to success is not like there's no map. You know what I'm saying? Like and you can spiral at any time. So it's hard to keep yourself in check because there's a lot of enablers. And the thing that's even worse than enablers now is people that are so determined to not be an enabler that all they do is think they're giving you tough love when it's like they kicking you when they down. Like
yet again was seen as a sign of weakness. I think there is a certain image that rappers are expected to have, like just being confident and strong. And I think to some people having a mental illness is not seen as strong. And just Wale admitting it and being vulnerable in spaces like even Red Table Talk, I think that people just don't like to live in reality and face the truth. Aside from that, I think Wale transitioning to a different management impacted his career. He had an unfortunate public rift with fellow Maybach music group member Meek Mill. He then left Jay-Z's Roc Nation for new management in 2014. Charlemagne also asked Wale if he was bothered by the fact that his records don't get the same amount of media attention as some of his peers like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole, which a lot of them started around the same time as Wale. Wale said that it did. He says, maybe it's my fault. Kendrick dropped that joint yesterday and people were saying nobody makes feel-good rap. What? You're going to tell me I didn't make Sunshine? That's a damn good record, expressed Wale. People say nobody has content. Black heroes. That hurt me because I'm like, damn, dog, I'm saying on that record, that hurt. Why is it falling short? What am I doing? Wale then requested the public not define him off songs like Clappers, but rather songs like Black Heroes, Gullible, and The Curse of the Gifted. Personally, I always like that he showed dark-skinned women in his videos. Overall, I don't feel like a lot of rappers do this. And if you can name below at least 3 rappers who intentionally include dark-skinned black women in their videos, feel free in the comment section. There have been times where like people like Kendrick Lamar made a last-minute switch for the casting of the leading lady in his Poetic Justice video, and he directly stated that his intent was to represent more dark-skinned women. And 2 Chainz was also outspoken on more than one occasion about purposely choosing to feature darker-skinned models in one of his videos. He even pointed to the fact that his mom was dark-skinned, suggesting that he has a reason to appreciate dark-skinned women. Aside from that, I think a lot of men consider Wale as whiny or overly sensitive, and that they don't like that he recites poems. Yeah, it's kind of strange to me because Drake is very emotionally charged and people still accept it, so I don't know. So now I'm going to talk about how people have addressed critique on Wale's music and personality. It says the problem is that Wale and his team made a really decent soul rap album without a rapper soulful enough to carry it. He's a capable, sometimes personable MC, but he's not an especially compelling one. His approach to the album's more explicitly soul-oriented tracks is to intersperse his library of 2003 rap cliches about his personal struggle to success with the occasional line about social justice. The combination is a jumbled, awkward mess capped by a wasted guest appearance by Jerry Seinfeld on an excruciatingly unfunny dialogue with Wale on The Gifted's outro by Miles Raymer. And so now I'm going to read what some people on Reddit have said about Wale. Someone says, why is Wale the Gifted not more popular? The response is, I think it's pretty good. It has a lot of talented contributors, so I thought it would be more popular. People don't seem to talk about it much. Someone asked, just because it's not popular on Reddit doesn't mean it's not popular. It's one of the top 5 or 6 selling albums this year. I would say most people on Reddit don't like it because Wale is a pretty generic rapper who isn't doing anything special. Also, people think he's an asshole thanks to the Ain't No Pizza story. In my opinion, it's because Wale is a very one-dimensional rapper. I've always described him as having a lot of potential, and I still use that phrase to describe him. He's been in the game for a while now, and it's time to start producing some real results. Wale kind of bores me, man. However, the Bad remix, Heaven's Afternoon, Gullible, Rotation, and Black Heroes were dope. That song with Jerry Seinfeld is fresh. I like both versions of Bad, and Love Hate Thing is one of my favorite tracks of the year. Wale is cursed by his personality and his affiliation with MMG. People just straight up don't like him, or real hip-hop fans see MMG and automatically put him in a certain box. Even though it sold very well, it's not an album people even bring up when they discuss top 5 albums of the year, which is messed up considering the strength and replayability of the album. In December of 2013, Wale threatened Complex staff over their 50 best albums of 2013 list. The writer of Complex was petty enough to write about it, and he says, on Wednesday afternoon, Complex received a phone call from Wale. He was upset about the fact that his most recent album, The Gifted, was not included in the 50 best albums of 2013 list we posted earlier this week. I took the call and spoke to him for less than 3 minutes. Those 3 minutes, Wale claimed that staff members at Complex had a personal bias against him, then started shouting and making threats. At this point, it's got to be personal, he said. You telling me it's not personal? It's like a bold-faced lie. To be omitted from every type of list that y'all do, or be at the bottom of it, or every type of way that y'all can't omit me, you will. I told him it was not a personal thing. He cut me off. You mean to tell me Juicy J album better than mine? He said, his voice rising. Is that what you trying to tell me? He did not give me a chance to answer. But yes, I do like Juicy J's album better than The Gifted. And this was by Sanul Ahmad. So yeah, that was crazy to me. I'm sorry. It was kind of funny.
With Complex.
There's no disrespect, man. I mean, straight up, I really.
That's fucking dog! You know disrespect every fucking time, dog! I swear to God, I come to the office and start knocking the fuck out. You want to see some ghetto ignorant shit? You think I'm a fucking idiot? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, man, not at all.
Cause I think you think I'm a fucking idiot, dog. Cause y'all always do this shit. How the fuck you mean to tell me my outfit ain't in the top 50 of that?
So via Twitter, someone says, do you think your expressive passion for the music hurt or prevent you from being mentioned with the rest in your class? At Wale, he says, it hurt me greatly. Also, me being a dark-skinned, not half-white rapper, direct descent from Africa, did too, but let's not go there. So let me know down below if y'all agree with it. As cited by Randolph, the masculinities expressed in rap are shaped not only by dominant culture, but by the repression that characterizes society's treatment that is showing signs of femininity. Masculinities expressed in rap are shaped not only by dominant culture, but by the repression that characterizes society's treatment of non-normative sexuality and gender. Indeed, critics have singled out rap for its homophobia, as well as its hostility to male behavior considered quote-unquote soft, that is showing signs of femininity. Wale's lines are lyrical and just beautiful to listen to. It's smooth as honey and flows so natural you can practically see the words oozing out of his mouth, said the author Candy. These works also explore the ways in which Black male rappers use their music to express their emotions and to challenge traditional notions of masculinity. Wale is one of many Black male rappers who have been praised for their honesty and vulnerability. His music is a testament to the power of hip-hop as a tool for self-expression. So this is my conclusion. I think colorism played a part where Wale was typecasted or expected to be like the angry Black man, which to me is often seen in rap music. However, Wale was expressive and even challenged rappers in words, not really blows or ego to me. I think hip-hop expects a larger-than-life or aggressive personality, and Wale was just like chill. Like he said, he has anxiety. It's kind of sad that lighter skinned people like LL Cool J or Drake can be a lover boy in like the world of hip hop. And I also think it's ironic because people like Cudi was a bit emotional to me as well. And he came out around the same time that Wale was. That Wale was a bit more pro-black, and Cudi had like a crossover appeal that I felt kind of saved his career. I also think it's ironic that Cudi also admitted to struggling with mental health as time went on. I feel like if Wale would have came out maybe 10 or 15 years prior in hip hop, he would have been accepted more. Because I feel like at that time in hip hop, it was more diversity. I also feel like even now you see more of like rappers like Juice World, like rappers who like Juice World or NBA Youngboy, or just Rod Wave, who to me seem to like be very emotional. And Rod Wave, I feel like he's always crying in his raps, quote unquote. I think what makes an NBA Youngboy or Rod Wave different is that they don't just talk about like love or primarily social justice. They talk about everyday life type things. And I think that they could be more relatable to audiences, or it can get them more respect even if they don't sell a #1 album, especially even if they sell or don't sell the #1 album. As noted, rap has always been feminine. What it has not been is pro-woman, pro-rights. Hip-hop gendered as feminine has no agency. She is something men rappers love, something they do. It's not act, she is acted upon. I say that to say, I kind of think it's his personality. I kind of think it's ironic that even though Wale wasn't perfect at all, don't get me wrong, that rappers often, again, they view rap in a feminine way, like when they express their love for it. But when a man actually expresses his love, whether it be depicting a dark-skinned black woman in a music video, or just telling women that he admires their hustle or intelligence or their versatility, that men don't really accept it, or maybe even some women, shun him. And I will say that I think his personality, again, doesn't have the tough guy image, and he does dibble and dabble into his love for being a woman and at other times for being a player. And that could be more so an aspect of colorism, as it stereotypes how dark-skinned men should act and repress himself, especially in hip-hop. So I can't negate that colorism didn't impact Wale, especially if that was his lived experience. But when I think about gender, again, and how hip-hop is portrayed, I think that it definitely impacted him. So yeah, that's all I got to say about this. And let me know, again, what you think down below in the comments. And thank you for listening to Books and Looks TV.